Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to One Piece 882, Beyond the Expectations of a Yonko. Now this chapter, it's been a long while since I've said about any of these chapters that we've been reading, whether it be Nanatsu no Taizai, One Piece, Boku no Hero Academia, or One Punch Man even, that I haven't liked the chapter. And the thing is, apart from that whole Hawk thing in the Nanatsu no Taizai, there hasn't really been anything wrong with any of these chapters, and this is another one of those great chapters. I really enjoyed this chapter. In terms of giving it a rating, I'm not too sure, probably about an 8, solid 8, maybe 8.5 out of 10. It was just a solid chapter. There was nothing particularly wrong with it, and I'm not going to say that there wasn't enough action, because there was the kind of fight between Katakuri and Luffy, and we got to see a whole bunch of things which I really enjoyed in this chapter. So let me just get straight into it, and let me know what you guys think in the comments and stuff like that. So the first thing I'd like to mention is where, in terms of the cover story, we're following Ideo in the new cover story. He chances upon two ships in the middle of cannon fire, is what it looks like. They're in the middle of a battle, and it looks like one of the ships is very reminiscent of, if you remember, Bon Clay's ship, the one with the swan, what's it called, figurehead. It had two of these kind of water wheels on each, well, one on each side, and that's what one of the ship on the right has. So it looks like Bon Clay's ship, Mr. 2 from Baroque Works. So it looks like his ship. Let me just put my charger in. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty weird, but I like the fact that we're following Ideo, and I think we're maybe Olympus. Is he still with us on that ship? I don't know. So then we come to the mirror world. I'm just gonna go through this probably chronologically. But let's talk about Katakuri, because Katakuri is a badass mother. It's difficult to dislike him, and he's the villain. So he's definitely one of the better villains we've seen in the entirety of One Piece. I mean, like, Doflamingo was awesome. I really like Doflamingo as a villain. Lucci was awesome. Everyone loves Lucci as a villain, but Katakuri is almost like I wouldn't say he's on Lucci level yet. He hasn't really gotten to that state for me, but he is putting in some work, and this guy is crazy. When he says most people do not die because they want to, deaths generally are unwanted occurrences, I was like, this guy, he's such a calm guy. He's so calm. He doesn't care about, he's very, very level-headed. So he's not doing this like on an emotional basis. He's not angered by Luffy. He's almost teaching Luffy in the ways of like how to be better, how to think more clearly. And it's nice to see a villain who's not emotionally driven. Like we knew Doflamingo. He's very like Lucci in that sense, because Doflamingo we saw, he was just crazy. He was driven by his anger. He was very temperamental, and he'd be happy one occasion, then something would piss him off and he'd just go apeshit. So Katakuri is a very different character in terms of just his base emotions, and he's very good. He's a very good fight for Luffy at this moment in time in terms of experience. He semi-scolds Brûlé for hyping him up. And I'm not sure, someone actually mentioned this on Reddit, I'm not sure whether he scolds her because he doesn't want Luffy to catch on to anything, or whether he scolds her because he sees that Luffy's going to smack her in the face. So I think it was more maybe he didn't want Luffy to attack, and he didn't want to have to go and protect her. But he does still go and protect her, and he hands Luffy a whooping for trying to hurt her. And I like the fact that Dogtooth, or Katakuri, is very protective of his siblings, and he says to Luffy, he's like, don't you try to hurt my sister, and he knocks him into the wall. So I was like, yo, Katakuri is just a boss. We also find out this chapter that Katakuri has never been on his back, so this is just like everywhere this chapter they were kind of hyping up the fact that Katakuri has never been on his back, and Luffy's about to change that. He's about to change that up, boy. So I'm just like, I'm not sure if Luffy can. I don't believe that Luffy should be able to beat Katakuri, but maybe Luffy will pull something out. I don't know. It just seems very interesting, because I'll come on to the whole Katakuri being a little bit frustrated later on. His spear, Katakuri's spear, is called Mole, and the reason why is the way he builds up all of this kind of rotational energy in his mochified arm, and then he thrusts his spear. He kind of, it's like a circular saw almost. He leaves tunnels in whatever he strikes. So he just leaves like this cavernous tunnel in whatever he strikes, and that's basically why it's called Mole, because he's digging these tunnels into walls and shit. Luffy and Brûlé, I'm like 5 minutes into this review, and I haven't even got to the best parts of the chapter yet. Well, actually, I think the mirror world was probably the best part of the chapter for me. Luffy and Brulee's interactions in this chapter were hilarious. When he calls her Branch by accident because he forgets her name, I was like, this guy. And then when Katakuri's like, which parts of your body should I tear off first? And she's just there in the back like, his neck, bitch, get his neck. And I was like, she's crazy. And it was nice to see like Luffy getting pissed off because of her just being there. I also liked how Brulee has spiced up the story. She heard through the mirrors because the mirrors are her domain. It's not an Aspel. The mirrors are her thing, and she heard everything about the Straw Hats and what they said. So she knows they're alive, and she knows what they've planned and where they're headed, i.e. Cacao Island. And she's notified Big Mom and Perospero, who are shocked, obviously, that the Straw Hats managed to survive. And basically, Brulee has thrown a major spanner in the works. She's messed up a lot of because the Straw Hats were gonna go to Cacao Island even if Big Mom was pursuing them, but the fact that they'd kind of flown under the radar and Perospero and them not thought that they were dead, that really helped them along. But now they know they're alive, the chase resumes, so it's gonna be harder for them. However, we then come to Big Mom's gluttony, and that's gonna divert them and sidetrack them really, and it's gonna cost a few hundred people their lives down in Nut City, I think it was. And it would be cool to actually see a rebellion, because I'm waiting for that one city where they're just like, you know what, I've had enough of your shit, Big Mom, and they just kind of like attack her or something. They wouldn't do anything because Big Mom's too tough physically in terms of her skin. It's impenetrable. Well, she's had so many kids, but so I'm hoping to see maybe a rebellion of some sort. Also, we find out this chapter, it turns out that the homie we thought like was the Poseidon, the tsunami, was actually Perospero's candy. It was within the wave. That's why the wave had a face, because his candy structure thing was within the wave. So the candy is particularly large. It's particularly massive. So it must have like bobbed up and down in the water, maybe like splashed in the water violently enough to build up the tsunami. Maybe Big Mom jumped on top of it as well, helped build up that kind of return force for the tsunami. So it kind of makes sense. It's just that a lot of they were quite far from the coast, so you'd need the waves would have to go all the way to the coast and then really come back in order to build up that tsunami. So I'm not sure how long that would take. I'm not I don't even know what they call the study of waves, but so it kind of makes sense. I think Big Mom shouldn't be able to use her fruit on the sea and make the sea into a homie. That would just be OP as shit. Aokiji can freeze over the sea, but he can't. I don't think he can utilize the sea to like. But actually, Aokiji's different. He's a Logia, so that's a different thing. But it makes sense that Big Mom shouldn't be able to use her fruit on the sea. Luffy and Katakuri begin to slowly appreciate in this chapter each other's skills, and that was nice to see. I like that. Luffy being sharp enough to dodge Katakuri is stressing Katakuri out. Katakuri's like, you know what? I've hit so many people because I've been able to see where they were going to be, and I just attacked that area. But the fact that you're dodging me is stressing me out. And I was like, that's good. Luffy's sharpness is wearing down Katakuri, but Katakuri is also wearing down Luffy because Luffy's having to stay on guard and dodge like double attacks. Katakuri has indeed awakened his devil fruit. Everyone who made that shout last chapter, it was a small shout to make, but many people, I think quite a few people mentioned it, not just because I mentioned it last chapter, but someone on Reddit had mentioned it prior to me saying it. Someone before that had said it as well. So a whole bunch of people said it. I think even King of Lightning said it. So there were a bunch of people that thought maybe Katakuri had awakened his devil fruit and we'd seen it last chapter. And it turns out we were right. This means, though, that Luffy will get more experience in this area, having to deal with people who've awakened their devil fruits. I'm still not convinced he'll actually awaken his devil fruit, Luffy. But it'll definitely increase his understanding of awakenings, and maybe Katakuri will say something to make Luffy realize, okay, this is what I've not done yet. This is where I need to be. This is my goal. This is what I need to understand about devil fruits for me to awaken mine. Luffy looks like he's going Gear 4th. Katakuri goes, oh, Gear 4th, I'm intrigued. But his arm hasn't been imbued or infused with his not his Hawashoku, his Busoshoku no Haki, his color of arms. So usually his arm is clad in his Haki, and then he bites onto it and he goes Gear 4th. So maybe this is a different form. People were saying, and I was saying as well, maybe he needs to utilize more of a speedy form of his Gear 4th and this maybe looks like it might be a different form because he hasn't infused his arm with Haki, but maybe it just might have been a mistake, or maybe he just wasn't infused in Haki, you know, maybe he doesn't have to do that. 10 minutes, yo. Okay, so we come on to Montdor and Co., their whole company. And it's obvious that the Sun Pirates have gotten rid of, or at least spoken to, the Sea Slugs and like converted them to their side of the force or something. So essentially the Germa, the Fire Tank Pirates, and the Straw Hat Crew are all flying under the radar. They can't be seen or detected by the Big Mom Pirates. I enjoyed seeing Peckham's sadness. It was nice to see, but the bigger question remains for me: where do his loyalties lie after all of this? Surely after having his mentor, his lifelong friend in Pedro, die against the Big Mom Pirates because he laid down his life for the Straw Hat Pirates, something's gotta give in Peckham's. You know, something's gotta change in him so that he actually decides on where his loyalties lie. Because it looks like he's extremely loyal to the Big Mom Pirates, but so far there's at least two minks have died. One was Zeppo, and one was now Pedro, if he's actually dead. So you know, Peckham's has got to do something. I also loved how Count Chicken, otherwise Baron Tamago, is extremely wary of Pedro's decision to lay down his life for the Straw Hat Crew. He feels they've underestimated the Straw Hat Crew, and his argument with his brother, well actually not his brother, his argument with one of the children of the Big Mom Pirates, Mondor, on everything that has occurred so far shows how unqualified the rest of the Big Mom crew are in terms of dealing with pirates who they've never seen before, pirates who would attack the Big Mom Pirates, had the balls to do that. So essentially what Tamago is telling him is that they've become so strong, they've become proud, and they've forgotten caution. That caution's gone in the wind, bruh. These guys don't care anymore. So he's saying we need to not underestimate these guys. If someone like Pedro thought that these guys were going to be the shit. So I agree with him. Tamago's got a brain on him, and he knows something's about to go down. We then see for the first time, I think, the Nostra Castello, and it's an awesome looking ship. It's a floating fortress. It's the Fire Tank Pirates' ship. Okay, I gotta yeah. So it's the Fire Tank Pirates' ship, the Nostra Castello, and I thought it looked really awesome. You know, the whole castle structure. It's got twin cannons on the front. It's got like I think it's got these spires running through the middle of a castle. It looks really awesome, and it's still got the mast and the sail and everything. And it's a really well designed ship. I like it. It's like a tank castle thing just floating across the sea. It's pretty cool. I liked it. And then we come on to what was probably one of the hypest parts of the chapter, because I like the whole Katakuri Luffy interaction. But then we come to the part where the Germa siblings took out a 10,000 strong force, a mass of underlings, and they just dealt them the cards. They kicked the shit out of them. Holy crap, they have regained their stature amongst us as a fandom, you know? Us as fans of One Piece. Everyone was, well, I'm not sure if everyone, I personally thought that the Germa were very underwhelming, you know? For people who are made to look so weak and not very effective in anything, they've put in a shed load of work. They've taken out the mans that were after them, and they just looked awesome. You know, you got Reiju, Niji, what's his name? Yonji and Ichiji just stood there like, yep. And they don't even look particularly damaged. They're completely fine, actually unscathed. So I was like, yo, these guys have put in some work, and now they look to aid the Straw Hats and ready their ships for Cacao Island. I was like, this is gonna be dirty. Everyone is heading for Cacao Island. Eventually Big Mom and Perospero are gonna get there. The Straw Hat crew are gonna get there. Maybe maybe Katakuri and Luffy will eventually somehow like smash each other through a mirror or something and end up there. We've already got Chiffon, Pudding, and Sanji there with all the cooks. So basically everyone's heading there, and the Germa, like I said, are also heading there. So everyone's gonna be there. But it's gonna be a Royal Rumble. It's gonna be an awesome time when they all get to that one island and they're just kicking the shit out of each other. And obviously the climax will have to be Sanji delivering that cake and being like, eat it. So that's gonna be fun. The only questions I have now are, where was Judge? In this entire chapter we didn't see Judge, even though we saw the Germa kicking ass. And where was Smoothie? Smoothie has put in absolutely no work. She's put in minus work. She's actually done jack shit, and it's starting to annoy me a bit, because Cracker, even though he was defeated, he was actually a solid mofo, and he pushed Luffy to one of the like the furthest we've seen Luffy pushed since Doflamingo, even though Doflamingo had just been beaten. So the fact that Smoothie hasn't really done anything, I don't know if she's even been taken out by the Fire Tank Pirates or even the Germa. I doubt it at this moment in time, but she needs to do something before this arc is out. So I really want to see her. But yeah, like I said, this chapter was really good. This is my longest review in the last couple of weeks, apart from the One Punch Man one. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, please do actually let me know what you thought, because it's always good to have discussion in the comments. And I like talking about One Piece. That's why I'm doing these reviews. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will see you guys in a bit.